under this shutdown, no one was getting anything. There was no SNAP. There was no, healthcare extensions on those things around there too. So for me, it's like reasonable Democrats can disagree on certain kinds of core things, but I hope we could all agree that chaos is the wrong response for the kinds of chaos that our nation has been in after the president's reelection.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman there, one of the 8 non-Republican senators to vote to end the government shutdown, defending his vote on The View Tuesday.
Fetterman, along with his 7 other colleagues who voted for the funding bill, have received a flurry of criticism for their decision to end the shutdown, especially following the sweeping Democratic election wins last week, something that the late-night shows relentlessly mocked after the weekend. Take a listen.
Democrats drew a line in the sand. They said, we are not going over this. And today, after 41 days, they pulled out a shovel and a bucket, and they ate all that sand and got nothing for it. Isn't that great?
The president's poll numbers are historically bad. He just got booed at a football game, and voters handed Democrats huge victories in Tuesday's election. So naturally, Senate Democrats looked at all of that and said, now is the time to cave.
Where in the art of war Sun Tzu said, never press your advantage. It's unseemly. Fighting's hard. How about a snack?
Jon Stewart's so much funnier.
Yes, we mutually enjoy Jon Stewart. The View's Sonny Hostin appeared similarly outraged at the Democrats' decision to end the shutdown and confronted Fetterman during his appearance yesterday. Take a look at that.
Bernie Sanders said the vote was a horrific mistake. Governor Gavin Newsom called it pathetic and a surrender. Poll after poll found more Americans on both sides of the aisle blaming Republicans. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene blamed the GOP. As you mentioned, Democrats had big wins last week, so you had momentum. Why give in now? Why bring a butter knife to a gunfight?
Hostin continued, saying she didn't believe Republicans would negotiate healthcare costs in good faith. Here's how Senator Fetterman responded.
First of all, MTG is quite literally the last person in America that I'm going to take advice. I don't need a lecture from whether it's Bernie or the governor in California, because they are representing very deep blue kinds of populations after the election a year ago. We got to forget some of the things that cost us that election, or now for me, it's like, that's why I'm trying to remind people that kinds of the extremism, we can't return to those kind of things and realize we need to find a way forward.
I mean, on one hand, look, I obviously understand the progressive, or I think it's not even just progressive, just Democratic overall frustration with John Fetterman. He seemed like and ran as a more economic left populist person and gets along much better with Republicans these days.
Right.
But he's also clearly paying attention to the political reality that he is a Democrat in a swing state that went red last time. His votes basically mirror that reality. He's very friendly to Republicans because he's in a state they won. Now, most politicians try to, stay alive in terms of being, maybe it'd be the case he wouldn't be able to survive a primary challenge from Democrats, I guess. Then he would probably just become a Republican and win that way. So I think his choices are frankly rational given the political environment he faces. I know that's very frustrating to Democrats, but there just aren't that many seats held by people in enemy territory anymore.
Well, so first of all, Fetterman just irritates me, just generally speaking.
I know he does.
Because, I just think that he sort of postured as this anti-establishment, rebellious kind of figure.
Yeah, anti-democratic establishment.
It's just he's
friendly
just
to Republican establishment.
Exactly. He's just this person who plays a Democrat on Fox News now, and a lot of his positions are really very sort of Joe Manchin-like at best. In relation to the political complexion of Pennsylvania and all that, yeah, I take that point, but in for example, your home state of Michigan. I mean, I know you're not a Gretchen Whitmer fan, but she doesn't, I mean, I don't see Whitmer kind of trolling Democrats in the same way that Fetterman does. I certainly don't see the amount of Democratic annoyance with her, or I think Gary Peters is retiring, I think. But, you know, he's also not sort of at the forefront of this trolling behavior. Just circling back to where we started, I think part of the frustration on the left and among liberals is that those election results were very strong. Polling did show a plurality of people, at least, blaming Republicans rather than Democrats for the shutdown, and they chose that moment to cave. Yes, there were political complications to the struggle to fight on for increased Obamacare subsidies and all of that, but it just seemed so defeatist in the immediate wake of elections that had been won by much more combative figures.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that. We've discussed it. I probably makes sense to me what you're saying, and the Democrats folding then is kind of weird. By the same token, I don't think Republicans were going to throw in the towel at all. And the filibuster, is, as we mentioned yesterday, is the most interesting part of this because there might have been some actual movement on that, which Republicans wanted to forestall. Maybe that would have been Democrats' best bargaining chip. Trump wants to change the filibuster. You're not in step with your own president now because more institutional Republicans don't want to alter that because they don't want to give that power to Democrats in the future. But and that was also just the pain of, Fetterman probably has a lot of SNAP recipients in his state.
Sure.
Who are feeling the pain and are going to give him his favorability ratings in his home state are very, very high. Very high. He's like the only Democrat who improved his favorability by being, you just hate him. You just hate him, Niall.
Well, I really just from everything from Gaza to marijuana to health. I mean, he used to be a big legalized pot guy, and then he signed up with some bill that kept a hemp ban recently. Not that that's a particularly burning issue for me, but it's just I just think he's drifted from virtually all the things he was purporting to believe.
Let me try this one on though. For Democrats have a kind of structural disadvantage in the Senate. Their odds of retaking it ever again are not so fantastic. Obviously, it could happen, but it's not fantastic. They need to kind of get creative in some states, in red states, with Dan Osborne type people who are going to slam Democrats and be all over the map in terms of what their actual politics are and are going to vote with Democrats very unreliably, but will not be Republicans. And that's if they ever want a technical majority, that's the deal they're going to have to make with people in some of these states. Yeah,
and there used to be people like Mary Landrieu in Louisiana and things who were like that. But anyway, I still hate Fetterman. President Trump is asking the Supreme Court to overturn the verdict in the E. Jean Carroll case. Coming up, why Trump says the case came to the wrong verdict and should be thrown out.